Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Brilliancies by Mikhail. And today we are going to see a game of Mikhail versus George Yatrinov in the Amsterdam Interzonal 1964. And this is a very nice example of why he was the most fierce attacking players of his times, and till today also people still admire him for his tactics. So let's dive into the game right away. If you see this position on the screen, you just we can just evaluate it quickly. Uh, Tringov has played e5 to defend his d6 pawn, and he has not followed a very basic principle of chess. That is, he has not safeguarded his king before you open the center. So, you know, better was to develop the knight to castle first and then go for such breaks. But he has played this move e5, and he banks upon the fact that yes, this pawn is defended very well. But Tal shows that why this pawn is not, it appears to be defended, but it's not actually defended. So Tal plays the move D captures on E5 here, and you have to recapture. That was the entire plan behind playing E5. So think of captures, and now again, this is a moment where I can ask you guys to pause the video if you have not seen this game before. You can just pause it and try to figure out the move that Tal played. And for those who have spotted, let's analyze the move. So Tal actually plays the move Queen D6 here. Again, a very brilliant stuff. And what is the idea? The idea is not to allow the king to escape. So the queen on d6 is pretty much dominating the black king on e8. And not only this stuff, it actually sets up a very nice, mating net. So what options do black have here? I mean, the bishop is hanging, the knight on c3 is hanging, but what should black play? Well, everything fails. This move is just so strong. So first, let's see if E captures an f4. Then now the king is on the center. You have knight to d5 here, and the threat is knight c7 check. And there is not much of a thing that you can do after knight d7. That is the best possible defense. You just block the queen. nc7 check still might be winning, but there's even more better knight to g5. And the plan is that now you have nc7 check followed with knight f7 checkmate, and both the knights are pretty much into the game. If you capture this, then just e captures. Now the rook, joins the attack, and it's game over for black. So that is why this move is so much poisonous. You can't take the bishop. What else you can do? Well, in the game, Tringov took the knight, and we will be seeing what happened after that. But if you try to kind of shelter your king against his queen, so let's say if you try something like knight f6, then the problem comes that after knight f6, still the king cannot castle. So just something like knight e5, bishop e5 is going to be just dangerous. Now knight e5, and still you have the same problems. You have bishop f7 checkmate threat, and you cannot defend it practically because there is no good defense for black here. So a move that could have been tried was knight to e7, trying to block it this way. But now it is of no use because simply knight captures on e5, bishop captures on e5 also works, but knight captures, and let's say after bishop captures or even castles, just takes on e7. You're down a piece, and there is nothing you can do. You can take on c3 here, but then still bishop f7, and there's not much black can ever do here. Uh, for those who are new to chess, I will leave it upon you guys. If king h8 is played, there is a nice mate. So you can pause the video here, but just for those who want to enjoy the solution, it's knight g6 check, and after g6 you queen h4 check. The king cannot escape on g8. Bishop f6 is forced, and now queen captures on h6 is a nice little checkmate. So yeah, this is just an example why active pieces versus passive pieces. If you see black's pieces, they are all passive, and even if white sacrifices any piece here, it's not going to help black because bishop f7 check and it's all over. So that is why that doesn't work. So of course, Tringov saw all of this, and he played queen captures on c3. But now Tal plays a much more strong and silent killer move, rook f to d1. And the idea is pretty straight. You have to go to d8 for checkmate, and there's not what you can say a much more better way you can defend this, because if you go bishop f6, then this bishop is overloaded. Even knight something like knight e5, and it's game over. Again, you can't take with the bishop because there is a checkmate. You can't take with the queen because there is the bishop, and you can't take this bishop because the knight defends that. So it's such a great attacking move by Mikhail. So this is of course the plan against bishop f6, but what happens if bishop d7 or knight d7 trying to block the queen? Well, if bishop d7, then the b7 pawn is hanging. So simply rook b7 followed with rook captures on d7, and it's pretty much game over for for the opponent. So of course, Trignov doesn't play that. He plays knight b to d7, hoping that okay, the bishop is guarding the knight, the bishop is guarding the b7 pawn, and there are many ways for Tal to win. I mean, when I saw this position first time, I saw rook b7, and well, this is winning. Now rook captures on d7, and there's not much that uh, Trinkov can do here. But Dal actually, after this move knight to d7 here, Dal plays the absolute best stuff. And again, I will ask you guys to pause this video because this is the actual brilliant stuff. After which the opponent actually resigned and on the next couple of moves. So again, feel free to pause the video. And for those who have found it, it's the mysterious move, or let's say the signature move of Mikhail Tal. It's a sacrifice. So now we see Tal sacrifice the knight, and Tal goes on to sacrifice his bishop now. So Tal plays bishop captures on f7 with a check. If you go king here, then well, it's game over. I mean, there are thousands of ways to win. There is rook b7, rook d7 again. It's clearly winning for white. And if you capture, if you accept that, then comes knight to g5 with a check. Of course, king back to e8, and now Tal plays queen e6 with a check. And why is this so fatal? I mean, it was in this position that Tringov resigned the game. But what happens if knight e7 is played? Then you have queen f7 with a check, king to d8, and now knight e6 checkmate because knight covers the c7 square. And if not, if let's say king to d8 is played, then you have knight f7 with a check first. Now the queen covers the e file, king to c7, and now queen to d6 with a nice little checkmate. The queen covers the entire diagonal. The king cannot escape on b6 because the rook covers the b6 square. So again, a masterpiece from Mikhail Tal, and well, what better can you expect from a game played by Mikhail Tal in such a great attacking manner? And this move here, spotting this silent move queen to d6 at this point when Trinkov took it back was very important because this move actually snatches away the initiative from black and it completely destroys black's position. So, these are some of the, you can say, the traits by which you can uh, and learn the tactical variations from Mikhail Tal. And this is really helpful for chess players, even for chess players of this generation, because these things are just, they are the they show the perfect understanding of the game which Tal had and which we have to, we can completely learn from him. So this was the second game that I wanted to discuss. Again, as I've told, it was one of the most fierce game played by Mikhail Tal. Uh, I think in the next episode I will be back with one more game. That is one of my favorites game, but I'm really eager to show that one because that is the absolute. Even you ask any person who knows Tal, he will treat that game as Tal's immortal. So we will show that in the next episode. But till then, do follow our channel, do follow this series. To understand how tactics work. If you're a beginner player, this is surely going to help you. And even if you're an experienced or advanced player, finding these moves, understanding the depth of them, and calculating all those plans that Tal had in his mind is the one thing that we have to learn from these games of Mikhail Tal. So see you guys in the next session, and